Hey, it's Joy. How are you guys today? Sorry for the little bit of delay. We had some serious technical problems. Hopefully we got this fixed. So if you jump on, please say hi and let me know that you're here because that always kind of boosts the confidence level. As you know, Prickley Pear is sponsoring the Aaron Reed's Maker's Retreat. And for that, we had this digital card made, this card kit for the event. So anybody who is a paid sponsor, or I'm sorry, a paid attendee, will get this in their swag kit. This is also available on the website. And with this, it's $3 and you get colored images and you get the black and white images. You even get to cheat and you can print out this like card front if you want. And then this is a full A2 panel here with the snowflakes and hearts. I think our artist Kayla did an amazing job. I couldn't be more thankful for what she's done here. Anyway, you know me, I don't ever use things exactly as they're intended. So when you look at these printouts, you're going to see like this hairline area and this little outline you're actually supposed to cut on, so that way you've got the the ephemera look to it, like the die cut. So if you were to print this out just as it is, you would then have to fussy cut around that last outline. So that is what I did. I went ahead and I printed out 5 of these little penguins. And by doing that, what I did is I dropped this PDF into my Word document, and then I printed it with my color printer. And I did that on 80-pound smooth cardstock so that I could color with it. You could do whatever you want. Hi, Brennan. Hi, Lisa. I'm seeing that some of my crafty family, Sandy is here. Is Jen Palmer here? That's awesome. Again, I'm sorry for the delay, but this is what the free kit is going to be over at the Maker's Retreat with Aaron Reed. We are a sponsor, so if you want to register for that, I do have an affiliate link that I can put in the comments below. It is a 5-day event. I am super happy to sponsor it. I think Aaron Reed is an amazing artist and YouTuber and friend, so please go check that out. And over there, if you are registered, we're sponsoring a bunch of prizes. So are other companies. On October 5th at 2 o'clock Central Time, I'm going to be doing a live demonstration. Basically, I'm going to be talking about Prickley Pear and what it is that I do. So again, I am not going to use this kit as it is right now, but I wanted you to see the full digi that's out there. Now we are going to make some changes to this digi so that you can print out each one of these individually. Our artist is working on that, so that'll be a zip drive that you get. So here we go. Aaron is a lot of fun, Sandy. So Sandy, you had said earlier today in your feed that you were kind of having a crappy day. So I hope that your day is getting better. I'm glad that you're back with your crafty family. We've kind of been together for a while. Hi, Sue. How are you? I'm glad you're here joining us. So because I'm not using the card kit as it is intended, I am going to make a slimline card. So I made a card base, and it measures 7.5 by 8.5, and then it's scored at, did I say that right? No, it's 7 by 8.5, and I scored it at 3.5 to have a card base. Then I did a black mat at 3.25 by 8.25, so I'm just leaving a border. And then this is going to be our background. So since our little penguins are super cute holding a coffee cup with a little bit of whipped cream, we are going to make this kind of in a, hi Doris, we're going to make this into a rainbow card. I am channeling my inner Amanda Zabel, the nerdy crafter, and we're going to do simple coloring, which, gasp, I don't usually do. But let's talk about the fun technique. So I've got some Catherine Pooler inks, and we're going to use the Over Coffee. And the reason I'm deciding to do that is because this is a coffee card, right? Why not just keep it literal? So somewhere in this craft room, I had taken a cap from one of my makeup spray bottles, and I was going to make coffee cup, like, spills. I have lost that in the moments of all of my tech difficulties, so we're going to get out our handy dandy best ever craft tape from Spellbinders. It's going to work perfectly for that, so let's get into all of that. Nerdy Crafter, thank you for putting in the virtual retreat thing. Now, she was selling kits because earlier this month, or last month, she did an in-person event, but all of those craft kits are sold out. However, you can still have access to all of the videos that have been pre-recorded and the ones that are being done by the sponsors. Sandy Andrews Nerdy Crafter link is broken. Would you guys like me to see if I can get my link for you? This is top-notch production here. I don't know where my keyboard went. So, like I said, this is top-notch production. But we are going to get you a link that works, Sandy, if you want to get involved in that. So let's go. All right. All right, I think I hear somebody talking to me. That link should work at this point. And that is my affiliate, so if you guys go ahead and register for that, I will get a little bit of a credit, and if you don't use my link, that's fine too. So here we go. I'm going to refresh my screen so I can see you guys. So here I am using my best ever craft tape and my Over Coffee, and this is the Catherine Pooler ink. So this is super technical at this point, and I am just kind of putting it down and I'm twisting, and I think the less pressure the better, but it kind of gives you the idea of coffee. Now I think that if I had sprayed this, we can try that. We'll see what we come up with. We'll do a little bit of ink spushing. Maybe. Everything that could go wrong today has gone wrong. I'm sorry, ladies. I don't think that made a huge difference, but this is just a background. I'm not too concerned with how it looks. I do think that maybe we should bring in a little bit of a brush so that we can, you know, distress that just a hair. And of course I'm getting up because I wasn't planning on doing that. All right. So I am using my favorite brushes from the Rabbit Hole Designs, and I'm just going to sloppily distress this a little bit just so that we don't have as much of a harsh background with those circles. you know, you might find that this is an overkill, and it could be. We could find out that I end up scratching this and going to a cleaner look, because I think most of you know by now that I am more of a clean and simple or a more crisp crafter. You've been using the Litho CP inks for large coffee stains. That's a good idea, Brennan. It's all good. Great idea. Use what you have. Yep. Amanda, you know by now that I like using what I have on my desk. I don't get into anything too super fancy with my crafting tools. So, as I said, I am embracing the simple color that my friend Amanda does, because she says that sometimes I get a little bit too fiddly. Now, these markers have not been used since I got off the airplane. You're right, Lisa, it can be fun. So, with these penguins, you could get into using like 4 and 5 shades of your, of your markers, like a C7, and go down to a 5 and a 3 and get some real dimension. But I feel like for the sake of the video that we should just stick with a 100. If you don't have a 100, you could use a C9 or a C8. You could even use your 110. Does anybody know the difference between a 100 and a 110 on a Copic? And I'm probably not going to get a whole lot of answers. And the answer of that is, the first thing you want to say is that it's darker. And I don't really think that that's true. The 100 has a more of a warm tone. So it's your darkest of the warm tone Copics. And then your 100 is more of a cool tone. I like the cool tone for the most part, unless I'm doing something furry. Now, I know that this is a critter, so you're going to want to use like the warmer tones, but if you've ever looked at a penguin for any amount of time, you know, I don't think you see a whole lot of fur like on the printed ones. But if you look in real life, their feathers are absolutely gorgeous, and they can be very fine point. But we're not going to get into the whole anatomically correct coloring of this. The whole point is that we're going to make this a rainbow card. We're going to do something just a hair different than what the artist had intended for this card kit. And I was telling Kayla today that for me, I want to bend all the rules. I'm a rule breaker. First of all, I don't like rules. So if somebody tells me that I actually have a rule, I 9 times out of 10 don't follow it. I'll be the person that goes like 10 miles over the speed limit. Safely, of course. I mean, I'm not going to put anybody's life in danger. Or, you know, if I'm saying that I can only print this one way, I'm going to make sure I print it. I'm going to prove everybody wrong, is what I'm saying. So that is some seriously simple coloring. Do you agree? I don't think you could ask for anything easier than what we've just done. And we're going to repeat that for all 5 penguins. So Amanda made a really pretty card, and hers was using the card kit, and she watercolored it, and it was amazing. She just sent it to me. My design team has some cards coming in, and you guys are going to see that more on the 5th when I release this to the makers group. But I wanted to get a couple samples ready for it, so my design team so graciously, even though I just gave them this image like, I don't know, like 11 o'clock last night, they're all coming in with stuff. And I don't know if any of my design teams watching right now. I can't tell. Let's see. I don't see anybody right now. There's Jen Palmer. It's called, oh yeah, Watch Me. Okay. But they were very awesome. They were very supportive, and they're like, yeah, we'll get it done. We'll get it done. For being relatively new to this company as far as the ownership of Prickley Pear, I inherited a fantastic team. And then I have brought on some of my own picks as well. And what's amazing to me is how much everybody wants to see Prickley Pear succeed. I've owned this for like 6 weeks. Brennan, we'll see if it gets done tomorrow. Brennan, yeah, I have a heads up for you. These images are going to be broken down into individual ones, so they'll be easier to work with. So if you want to hang on to like an hour or two, I should be able to get a different format for you. So here we did a YR04, an 07, and 09. So I just kind of kept the darkest color at the bottom, and then the tips of the feet, the brightest orange. I typically like to put like a Y19 under it because these colors are transparent. Actually, let me show you what that looks like. These are transparent and can be buildable. And everybody that's on here has followed me for a while, and they know that I like to do some underlip painting with my markers. It just adds more dimension and pops of brightness. Anyway, Brennan, I can't wait to see what you make with this. I don't know if anybody knows, but Brennan is a 15-year-old boy wonder. And I say that with the utmost respect. I am so incredibly proud of who he is as a card maker and as a human being. Brennan sort of makes me love card making again. Sandy, thank you. Like when he does his videos, he laughs and he giggles and he truly loves it. And he reminds me of why I wanted to be a card maker to begin with. And I don't know how many of you actually know my real story as to how I started card making, and I will share that with you. I'm actually going to share that on the live at the Makers Retreat. Even if you are not signed up as an attendee, all of the sponsor videos will be live on YouTube, so you'll be able to watch that at 2 o'clock Central Time. And the reason I'm reiterating Central Time is because the event is based out of Austin, Texas. So you kind of need to go by her time and not my time. But 2 o'clock Central Time is when I'll be on the 5th. So I really encourage you to kind of hop on, because I'm going to talk more about why I love Prickley Pear, why I decided to sign on with Prickley Pear, and kind of what my why is. I've noticed over the years that I've been kind of quiet with my why, and especially with my personal life. I don't share a whole lot about me, and I don't know, maybe that's a mistake. Looking back on it, it probably is, but I'm kind of a private person, and more so my husband is a private person, so it kind of was a respect with him. But once the two of us decided to embark on a new adventure, people really want to know who we are, what we're doing, and I want to share that with you guys. Sandy, you're right. People don't need to know everything. They do, but I have found that when you give a little bit of yourself and share your why and what you love about the card making community, it makes other people love it too. So for me, I normally, when I do a cheek, I kind of do like this, like if you ever watch makeup videos, like where they're doing the contour, I always do it like in a C shape, but these guys just look like they need those big dot bright cheeks. So I used an R20 and R11, and then I softened it with a 0. And the reason I did that with the 0 is I just needed to tone it down. Now, the thing about a 0 is it is not really a blender. It is an eraser. So if you hold your marker down and you just dot it and you let go and you keep doing that, you're actually going to displace that color. So it becomes an eraser. So don't let the word blender catch you, by surprise, or I think you're going to get results that you don't like if you go into it thinking that it's an eraser or that it's a blender, because you're going to end up wiping away all of the dimension that you worked so hard to put in. So by Rainbow, I'm going to do the hearts. So you know that I like to do what I call the scary dark. And the scary dark for me is an R59. I'm going to follow that by the 29, the 46, and the 24. And the reason I do that, the R59 makes that R24 pop, but your actual mid-tone color, or the color that your eye sees the most, is this R46. So if you don't know anything about Copics, we can go into it. You just need to tell me what you want to learn. I am finding that the information that I hold in my repertoire is not common knowledge. When I fall in love with a medium or a technique, I am all in. Like, I will learn the science behind it. I will learn everything there is to it. And then I just make the awful assumption that everybody else knows. And you know what they say about assumptions, it kind of makes you look like an idiot. It makes, they say it makes an ass out of you and ass out of the, all the way around. Sorry for my French there. But that's what I'm learning, is that I have a whole lot of knowledge that I maybe should be sharing with everybody. And I probably have a lot of knowledge that I don't know that I need to learn. But to me, I have a very basic non-Copic set of markers because I wasn't sure if I would like that. I do, but I don't use them enough to buy Copics. Sandy, what do you actually like to color with? And Amanda's going to probably jump in on this conversation, because Amanda does not like Copic markers per se. She doesn't hate them, but she's a watercolorist. But she attends a lot of Copic classes, and she takes what she learns from Copic, like as far as the shading and those things, and she applies it to her watercolor. So if you don't like Copics, but you want to learn something, Nerdy Crafter is the place to go. And I am just going to plug this because I love this human being more than anything in the world. She has just started her own YouTube channel. She has like one short up, and she's got a video that she doesn't have live yet. But if you want to follow somebody who really, really knows how to watercolor and can teach, like this girl, I saw the preview of this video that she's doing. She taught things on how to use an envelope punch that I never, ever would have thought of. So I really highly recommend that you make friends with my friend Amanda. So I am using W5 and a 3 for the cup. And that's just because it'll contrast nicely with the 100s for the black of the penguin. So basically, what I'm just washing that around And I'm going to leave a center highlight. And then I'm going to close in this cup. Now, if you wanted to, you could definitely choose different colors. I'm halfway debating if I like this color combo. But this is just about hanging out with my friends today. I have to tell you, it's been a crazy week. I flew home from Arizona. I'm so glad you added it, Lisa. She's amazing. I just flew home from Arizona last week on Tuesday. When I got off the plane, I had zero, and I mean zero, voice. I tried to call my husband to tell him that we landed. And he goes, "Are you talking?" He goes, "It sounds like plastic squeaking." So I spent the last week in bed getting over whatever this respiratory thing is. It wasn't COVID. I don't want you to feel sorry for me or anything. I'm just saying that it's been a rough little day. Like, when I came back from Arizona, man, Amanda had my calendar full of things that I needed to work on. Like, Amanda's like kicking my butt, I'm being honest. And she's really helping me come up with like a business plan and helping me with my tech issues tonight. I mean, Amanda's amazing. Anyway, I haven't been able to do any of those things. Today is the first day that I look like I was alive. Up until yesterday afternoon, I looked like a walking zombie. I could have gotten a part in a TV show. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to name the names. I don't want to get flagged. Woohoo, I was number 3. Yay! Brand new channel. Crafty channel. Nerdy Crafter. And if you guys are in the Arizona area, or if you go to expos, a lot of times Amanda does teach watercolor. I shouldn't say watercolor. She teaches stuff like a rubbernecker. She does some demos, and she's done it with some other companies. So, just because you don't know her now, you absolutely have the opportunity to get to know her, and I recommend it highly. So what I'm doing is I am repeating the process with the W5, the W3, and the W1. If you were paying attention, I kind of changed it up. Usually I color darkest to light, which is completely different than what any other company teaches or teacher teaches. But it makes sense to me to put the shadows in first and then do the lightest. But in this case, I went ahead and did the lightest. So just because I teach one way doesn't mean I don't break my own rules. I just got done saying I break my own rules on the regular. Yay, number 4 and number 6. Amanda, we're building your channel. That means you need to start putting some more content up, and you need to stop helping me with all my stuff because I'm taking up all your time lately, and you're going to kill it, girl. I don't know if y'all have figured it out. I am all about promoting other people and other companies, and in addition to my own. But I have had amazing support from other company owners or people that have worked with other companies that would have helped me learn, like back-end office stuff. I've had, how to get like a POS system in place so when I do in like live events that I know what I'm doing. I've even had people tell me how to set up my QuickBooks. I mean, this community is overwhelmingly, and I'm ready to cry when I say this community of card makers and company owners are amazing. They all work so hard for everything that they do. But they're so willing to help other people when they're new. And I don't know any other industry that's able to do that. And I'm not going to name the names of the people that have helped me because, one, I think that they're very humble and they probably don't want the credit. But I will tell you that you should go check out these rabbit hole brushes. There you go. I gave you a little bit of a clue. Go buy those brushes. And that would be a huge thank you from me to the owner of the rabbit hole, Marianne. Marianne has been super supportive and one of my biggest cheerleaders, and very thankful for that. But as far as everybody else, I'm gonna let that go. But I've had people come out of the woodwork to just cheer me on and love me. I just got back from the Ready Set Create retreat, and at the last minute, the owner of that retreat said, "Hey, I think it'd be really awesome if you could have a pop-up store at our retreat." She didn't have to offer that, but she just wanted to see a new company or a new owner come out running. That's amazing to me. So I've told you that I've sponsored the Ready Set Create retreat. That's the one I was just talking about. I also was able to demo last month at the expo for the Rabbit Hole and for Pear Blossom Press. I had an absolute blast meeting all the new people. What else did I do? Oh, I got to hang out with Amanda. Made some contacts. I met an amazing artist who happened to illustrate this stamp, this card set, and she's also illustrating 4 other stamps that are going to come out in January. So here is a little bit of a hint. This guy here, do you love him? I want to know. What do you think of these penguins? I need to know. Because before I do my spoiler alert, I want to know what you think. We're going to go right back here. This is what the card kit looks like. Man, you're getting a huge view of my messy desk. So that's what the card kit looks like. This right here may show up in another stamp set as our physical stamp. So if you're one of these people that do not love digital stamps, hang tight because I think you're going to see something really special in January. Brennan, I am excited for January, and I just have to tell you, my first stamp set that Kayla drew, it was, so here's the spoiler alert, it's about one of my pets. I have 2 Yorkies, I have 3 cats, I have 2 birds, and the one that she did was for my cat. And my cat is very special to me. They're all special to me, but this cat always raises his hand or his paw when I am watching church service, and it tickles me. And so there's a little bit of a hint. You're going to see a cat with its paw up in the air because it makes me giggle. And that's all I'm going to show you. Or I'm not going to show you any of it. I need you guys to just hold on until January, because this set is amazing. And I'm going to say, like, I want you to see my face when I tell you this. This set is absolutely spectacular. That's coming out in January. It's the very first stamp. I have wanted this stamp forever, and Kayla nailed it. It's cute. It's got a lot of fun sentiments in it, and it's very dear to my heart. So you guys, hang on to your hats when January comes. All I have to say, because I'm excited. And I just hope that you are. Cats rule. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. I have a black cat and a Bengal. You know what, Sandy? I have 2 black cats. They're both crazy. And then I have a kind of a Bengal cat. She's kind of a mixed bag. But let me tell you, I have such a blast with my cats. Hurley, which is my oldest black cat, who thinks he's still like 2. He knows how to open up all the doors in my house. So we have to have all of our locks on like an automatic, like 30-second timer. Because he lets himself out, and then he also lets all the animals out. And then I have to chase him around my neighborhood. And yes, that happened. That happened last night. My dogs were going to the groomer today. And my dog decided to do his annual little romp around the neighborhood. He found some stagnant water. I think somebody had just emptied their pool. And I had to bathe him in order to go to the groomer because I was so embarrassed because he smelled like dead fish. But, you know, that's just my life. And has anybody noticed what you're not hearing tonight? Have you noticed it's somewhat quiet? And I'm probably jinxing myself right now, but guess what? My macaw, or my cockatoo, is not screaming. So that's either 2 things. She's either afraid that I'm going to come down and have words with her, or my husband's home and he's entertaining them. I'm thinking that it's because he's home. So, I am still coloring. Cats are the best. I have 5. Yeah, Elisa, all I can tell you is the stamp set only has 3 cats on it. So you're going to have to either stamp something twice, or you're going to have to figure out which of the 3 cats that you want to color from this stamp set, because I couldn't fit 5 on my stamp set. So I think we have red and we have yellow. I think I'm going to switch to green. And I know this is not a traditional green that I'm going to go with. And that's just because it's my favorite blend. And any of you that have been around me for any amount of time, you know exactly what I'm doing. I am using YG01, 03, 67, and 17. It is my all-time favorite green combination. Let's see. I kind of refreshed my screen here for a second to see if I'm missing anybody's comments. All right. Amanda, are you still on? It looks like comments have been limited again. I don't know how that happened. So if you're in here, could you fix me? The broadcaster. Let me see if I can change any of this. Yep, I don't know why this has happened last time. Got halfway through the post and then all of a sudden things got limited, the comments. So hopefully my friend is playing with that. I was going to say, Lisa, do you know what causes that? But you won't be able to answer me. This is so frustrating when this happens. So I started with the YG01 because that's like my favorite color. Lime green is my absolute favorite. And I'm just putting some YG67 in there. And you can see I kind of did a U shape. And that's just because I want some movement within my heart. Like it's a rounded thing. It's like bouncing off some light. And that's what that's about. So as I talk, it seems like I'm adding more colors. Back to my, my standard 3, 4, 5 blend colors because I am not channeling my inner Amanda. All right. So we have three more to color. Do y'all want to see that? I'm going to keep going because I have to make this as a sample for my website. But if you guys jump off, that's fine because I know that you can't leave comments at this point. This is so frustrating when this happens. All right, back in with the black marker. This is hurting my soul to only use one color blend. My screen is moving, so I have a feeling my friend is trying to fix things for me. So besides making stamps and hanging out with you guys, today was a very expensive day in my household. Today was pet grooming day, and it was the aviary vet. So I took my blue and gold macaw to the vet. And I think some of you guys follow me on my personal page, my bird back in March plucked all of her feathers in a 24-hour period because she was upset because I was traveling. So we started out with a birth control shot, which then turned into an implant. And it was time for her to have another implant because she is still trying to pick. She's got some feathers that have come back, but not bailing. Okay. So she got her implant today, and she's been, like I said, very hormonal and temperamental. If I come near her in her cage, she tries to bite me. But if I get her out of the cage with a broomstick, she climbs up onto the broomstick. I'm not using the broomstick for anything nefarious. Then she's like my best friend once she's out of her cage. But she's very dominant over her cage, but she does love my husband. Like she would, if she could, she would have her babies. His babies. She is very bonded to him. But evidently, she still knows that the food and the care comes from me. So when I travel, she gets very stressed. So that's why she's on implants. And then I took my 2 Yorkies to be groomed. I think I mentioned that because my dog ran away and got nasty. So today was a very expensive day in my household. It was a very special day. Can you guys see this on my marker? Right here. It's getting very wet, and that's because I've been traveling with it, and it's going to the point of least resistance. So that's why I live in a very humid area, even though I don't live by a water source. Those start to blob. So if you take both lids off, then that'll keep that from blobbing. So when you travel and you have them on a plane especially, I always recommend that you remove both caps to sort of burp the marker. All right, let's talk about some other things with these markers. And I know not all of you are about Copics, but this is true with alcohol markers and stuff. If you notice that your tip is making noises like it's squeaking, that is a really good indication that it is time to refill it. Another thing that I always hear people say, and this is why they're all looking for different markers, and they're saying that manufacturing of Copics has gone down, blah, blah, blah. First of all, I'm on record, these are the gold standard for artist grade markers, and there's nothing that compares to it. There are quite a few out there that are competing with them and are coming close, but they're not quite there. But if you change, if you start to get that varnished look or that stickiness, that means that you need to refill your marker. You've got too much pigment in there, but not enough liquid to carry it. So I always say that you need to do your tips. If your tips bend in half, it's time to change them. So your tips should not bend more than that, period. And these are brush markers. So the idea is you're supposed to be using it like a paintbrush. You're not supposed to be putting down like heavy, do as I say, not as I do. So if you go in with a light hand, you're going to find out that your markers work so much better. And that's true if you have Olo, if you have Ohuhu, if you have Stampin' Blends from Stampin' Up. Now, I will say this, the Stampin' Blends are not refillable, and they don't have new nibs that you can buy, so they're one and done. So if your marker starts squeaking or you start getting the varnish effect, then you need to change your nibs. Or if it's a Stampin' Up issue or something like that, then you need to buy a new marker. But these markers, in reality, should last you years and years and years if you're taking care of them. And I've not always been good at taking care of my markers. I was at a retreat earlier this year and found out that my markers were disgusting. See all that? I need to clean all that. Like none of that buildup. You know, I should just be taking like an alcohol wipe and cleaning that, or using a Q-tip. But I replaced like 200 nibs, and now it's like I have brand new markers. And by far, it's the cheapest. So there's that. So now we've got all 5 painted in black. And we're going to go into like mass production mode. So I am going to grab my Y19 and I'm going to color all of the feet. And again, I'm not using a very light hand, so do as I say, not as I do. But I'm not bending my nib. That's what I'm hoping that you see from this. And I'm going to do all the feet and all the beaks all in the same color just to get it down, because this is a repetitive process that nobody wants to, you know, watch all the fine details of. They just want to get it down. I mean, I don't know about you, but when I craft, I have a certain amount of time, and I don't necessarily have 4 hours to color one item. Now, there are days that's very therapeutic for me, and I will spend like 4 hours. But I don't know. I don't know what I don't know who has the time to do it, but for me, I choose to color 1 or 2 items like in a 4-hour process in a month, and the rest of them I try to get done within the hour, because my time is valuable, your time is valuable. That's why I kind of have my layers and everything already pre-cut before we come on here. Realistically, like, so I cut these out with my scan and cut. I find that images with scan and cut cut much better if they're colored first. So if you ever have issues with your scan and cut, color your images, then cut them out. But I was very lucky and was able to get these to cut. Or you can fuzzy cut, but you all know by now that I don't fuzzy cut anything. In fact, I went to a retreat this summer and I brought my scan and cut with me because I refused to fuzzy cut. Hey, are you all surprised that I'm not in my pajamas? I'm sort of a pajama crafter kind of girl. My husband always laughs because he says that I change from one set of pajamas to the next. And here's a little known fact about me. I might go somewhere 3 different times in a day. And every time I come home, I change into my pajamas. And when I leave, I change my clothes. So it is not uncommon for me to be in my pajamas. The fact that I have like a real shirt on and not like, pajama top and fuzzy slippers on. This is a bonus today. You guys are getting like the real person here. I almost debated, this is kind of funny. I debated putting a ball cap on and coming on and crafting with you guys because I honestly just didn't want to get ready today or tonight. But I decided that I should at least not have a ball cap on, that it was a little unprofessional to do so. Now, if you wear a ball cap, I have no problem with it because I love it. I actually own more ball caps than what my husband does. It's not too often that he has to borrow one of mine, which is kind of funny because, you know, they're either white, gray, or pink. I'm a hot mess. Did we get any of the chat fixed? I can't tell. Testing. Yay! It looks like we got some comments. So I'm curious, do any of you guys wear ball caps, or am I the only weirdo? That's okay if you call me weird, because I am. Now we're going to go into the rest of the cups. Turn on commenting. That's where we want. Yay! I don't know why that turns off halfway through my broadcast. These just are things that I'm learning. So, for the rest of you who don't know me, I wanted to start a YouTube channel 4 years ago. But because of my crazy voice, I was scared to death to do it. One, I don't think anybody understands how hard it is to communicate. And when you can't communicate, it's just very frustrating. But I felt like I had something to share with people. I think everybody has something to say. But it took a lot of courage to start a YouTube channel and to do Facebook Lives and stuff like that. This is my voice all the time. Sometimes it's worse. Sometimes it's better. But I woke up many years ago and couldn't even whisper. And after many, many surgeries, I have finally been able to get a voice back. Now, I will tell you that at the end of this video, I won't talk for, 24 hours probably, trying to keep my voice working. It takes a lot of effort to talk, but I lived in my own personal, I don't know if it was hell, but in my own little world, kind of in a lonely place, because I just didn't think anybody wanted to hear this voice, and it was a very lonely place. And it wasn't until I got on a design team that required videos that made me actually do a video. And it was because I loved the team, I loved the company, and I wanted the opportunity to work with them. And I will always give that company owner my deepest respect in the fact that she empowered me to finally have a voice that people heard. And in this day and age, I think it's really hard sometimes for voices to be heard. I think there's a lot of talking boxes out there that kind of keep you from saying things or becoming who you want to become. And I just tried to embrace the fact that everybody has something special to say. And I hope that, I'm sure at some point I'm going to come across comments where people are like, oh my God, but I don't like listening to your voice. And I'll be like, okay, that's fine. I'm not for everybody. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I drink a lot of tea because of my voice, but I've just decided that I'm embracing who I am. And that first design team that made me do videos is who I give my credit to for that. And even though that company's not around right now, I am thankful for that. So I made this cup a little bit darker just because I wanted, a little bit of dimension. Sorry that my head got into the camera. I got carried away because I'm Just talking. Sound keeps cutting off. Bald caps, Brennan. Bald caps, as in like the ones you wear on my head. Do y'all want to hear a story about a ball cap? As in ball, B-A-L-L, not with the D. When we were down in Somerset buying Prickly Pear, that's Somerset, Kentucky, my husband and I late one night went into a Walmart, because if you don't know anything about Somerset, there's not a whole lot that goes on at night. So we go into Walmart and I found this hat. Gosh, I don't even know the name brand of it. And I'm like, oh my God, we've got to get this hat. We've got to get this hat. And my husband's like, why? I'm like, because it's air conditioned. And he goes, what do you mean it's air conditioned? I'm like, it's got holes in the back, like multiple. I was like, this is the perfect summer hat. And he's just laughing at me. He's like, okay. He was like, go ahead and get them. So I grabbed one for him and I grabbed one for me. And I'm like, this is like the best thing ever. And I was like, oh gosh. I mean, I thought I found like a gem. Well, then I put it on my head. And the holes in the back, multiple holes, like it was braided, were meant for ponytails. And I quickly looked at my husband, who has a balding head with a D, Brennan. And I said, I don't think you have room for a ponytail. I said, I don't think this hat's for you. I said, I think this might be a women's hat. And he just giggled. He finds me, he puts up with me. And he says, I was wondering when you were going to figure out that was a women's hat, or at least somebody who has long hair hat. And I'm like, yeah. But I said, wouldn't it have been funny if I made you wear it? And he goes, yeah, I don't think that's going to ever happen, but I really got a kick out of your blonde moment. And I'm like, okay. So yeah, that happened, and my husband just thought that I was insane, and he's right. I am insane on the normal basis. Sandy, it looks like you're commenting again. Brennan, let me know, do you think story time is a waste of time, or do you guys like to hear my craziness? Lord knows I have a lot of them. Usually my stories involve throwing my husband under the bus. Now, you need to know that just because I throw him under the bus doesn't mean anybody else can, because that's our dynamic, but boy, I'd fight for him. Those be fighting words, but I pick on him on the daily. My husband is probably the sweetest person I've ever met. He's also the not a person you mess with either. He only handles me picking on him, right? But he's the most generous person I've met, and because of him, I was able to follow my dream of owning this company. And I mean, we own it together, clearly, but he's kind of like the silent partner. He does a lot of the shipping for everybody, but he enabled me from the very beginning when I started crafting, and I am forever grateful. So all of these cups are done. So we've got red somewhere, red, yellow, green. Let's do a blue. Trying to think what colors I want. So off to the right of me, I have my full Copic collection. So when I kind of turn over and you don't see what I'm doing, it's just me grabbing some colors. So I'm sticking with really simple blends here. Like, I'm not like skipping different families or anything like that. So this is a B12, a B16, and a B18. And I'm just putting down those colors. The B8, I thought I grabbed the B18. The B18 is going to be the Scary Dark. And again, I'm kind of putting that off to the right side, and then kind of doing a U so it's halfway up, and then I'm going to blend with that B16 in that same shape. And then I'm going back in with that B12, and that's just to blend everything out, and it leaves that nice highlight in the center there. All right, and then I obviously left out orange. So do I have any votes? Do we want purple or do we want orange? So are we going to skip the orange and the rainbow, or are we going to just leave out purple? I always feel like purple gets left out. So tell me what you think. Purple! That's the first one I saw, and that's the one I wanted to do. So, yay, you won. Sandy Andrews won this fight today. So I am using V09, V05, and V04. So V04 is my lightest color. And sometimes when I go in with that lightest color, it's just so that I prime my paper so the fibers are wet and these blend a little bit better. But I truly 90% of the time start with my Scary Dark and then work into it. I'm just kind of breaking my rules. And the reason I break my rules is so that you can see more than one way to color an item. Back with the VO4. All right. Somewhere in this mess is my coffee color, which is the E77. And I'm just going to color that in around the cup. Nothing real special here. We're just getting it down. Again, I'm not doing a lot of shading. I'm just getting some color down. These were meant to be, you know, quick and easy. I mean, Kayla even gave us finished pieces that were pre-colored. So if you don't like to color, then you can absolutely just print those off and use the colored one. That black ink is making me wacko in the middle of my glass board mat, so I'm grabbing a baby wipe and I'm going to pray that it takes that off. Normally I use like hand sanitizer or just rubbing alcohol. Good enough. That was just driving me nuts. A little bit of OCD. Oh, and I forgot their cheeks. Who wants to see the cheeks? Sandy, have a good night. I am so glad that you came. I've missed you. I've missed my crafty family, and I hope that you all integrate over here to hang out with me every once in a while. And if you all want to get together and do something virtual, like a Zoom or something, then let's do that, because I do miss you guys like something crazy. But we're not doing anything special here at this point. We're just getting the color down on the cheeks. So this is the R20. And please know that when I'm coloring these fast. I normally would spend more time doing that and getting a more perfect shape. But I think that these little guys are just meant to have these big rosy cheeks. So that's why I'm not like blending or going like the shape of the face. I just think that they're adorable exactly the way they are. If you're coloring these, please color them the way you want. I am using this eraser as a blender, but again, don't ever confuse the 0 for an actual blender, because all it does is remove colors or moves it around. It's not really blending anything. All right. Sandy, definitely message me and we'll get something together. All right, so this is my card. So I have my 7 by 8.5 scored at 3.5 for my card base. I always kind of open them up because it's easier. And I am going to use my Barely Art Glue. Barely Art Glue is available multiple places, but it's also available at Prickly Pear. And I use the fine tip, and I just make sure I get a decent amount down. You don't have to like have it swamped in glue. Actually, probably less is more, even though it looks like I used a lot. But this is, like I said, a fine point. Now, Amanda is probably having a heart attack because I'm not using foam tape to pop up any of my layers. And that's just for time purposes for the video. All right. What do you think of that background so far? I think that extra ink turned out like amazing. And we're gonna get these little guys. I lied. We are gonna pop some of this up if I have tape here. Let me grab it. So most of you know that I like dimension on my cards, and I tend to pop everything up. I buy tape from Amazon that I really like because it's only like 1/16 of an inch thick, so it goes through the mail well. But there is this new tape that I use, and I'm going to demonstrate it on a different card hopefully next week, by Pear Blossom Press. And this foam tape from Pear Blossom Press is repositionable up to 30 minutes. It is a game changer for those of us who can't get layers on straight. And when I say that, I'm talking about me. I struggle with that. I have a T-ruler. I've actually got a couple of T-rulers sitting next to me. And I'm not pushing this all the way down, so if I need to reposition these a little bit, I can. And more foam tape. I know that there's like all kinds of square dots on the market and all that stuff. I just tend to choose 1 or 2 adhesives and call it a day. So Brandon, I have a question for you. When you saw this card kit and you saw how it printed out, did you ever think that I was going to get 5 little penguins and make a little rainbow card? Or did you think it was going to be a nice little wintry, card, kind of like it is? I'm always curious what people think of like digital downloads, if they feel like they're stuck with the way that it comes out, or if this has given everybody some confidence that you can use it for multiple things. I'm just curious. Amanda's World's Best Foam Tape. You're right, Alinda. I'm actually thinking about contacting her to see if we can carry that in the store, which I've already talked to her about somewhat. So I'm hoping that comes to fruition sooner than later. So when I told you not to tack these down all the way, you can see that I'm kind of fighting that. And I just take that as a chance for embellishment. So here we go. You're going to see the classic hide and disguise method. So I ripped this area. And this is lining up right there. I'm lying to you right now. Let's see. I leave all my mistakes in so everybody sees that you can still salvage a card. You never have to really start over on anything. So because that is such a small tear and I've got so much texture going on, I'm able to put that down. And then since this is barely art glue, it dries absolutely matte and clear, so you don't have the shine. So that's a plus. Now I need to figure out where my cute little penguin went. Oh shoot. You guys, I'm a mess. Do as I say, not as I do. Did anybody see where that yellow went? I had a fun time playing with this download. The penguins are so cute. So, Linda, they are super cute and they are easy to use. I will say this, that we're going to make them a little bit easier, and we're going to have them so that they come individually instead of just on that sheet. That way there are more options, but you saw that I crafted with this just fine, with the exception of putting down my cards. Should we just do this? I don't know. I've ripped my paper too many times. And I have no idea where that... Oh, y'all, look. Can you see that? It is stuck to my hand, to my watch. That is some funny, funny stuff. So since I've ripped the paper, I'm just putting some glue down on that foam tape, because we still have that dimension. And I'm leaving that gap there. That's gonna drive me nuts, just so y'all know. And we're gonna use this sentiment right here. So you can use this one here or this one here. I'm probably gonna use this smaller of the two. And so what I do is I put this in my trimmer and I use my guide bar. So the clear part I have straight. And I lop that off, so that gives me a little bit of a border. So this, instead of using a die, I'm doing the exact same thing here, where I'm lining up on the T. And by using your guide bar and lining it up with the letters, you get a perfect little sentiment square without having to die cut. Now, do I think a die cut would be darling? Yes, I do. And I'm going to pop this up on 2 layers of foam tape because I like dimension. Check your arm. Haha, nerdy crafter. And you're like, oh, she's going to redo that background. Yeah, I probably will. No, I'm not. Alright, so. Do y'all like watching me make mistakes? Or is it scary? I am using whatever ink is left on here to distress the edges. so it's not this stark white. All right. Sorry, my big fat head was in the way. So can we talk about card design? All right. So yes, I have some space there, and that's making me nuts, but I am not redoing this card. But with this card design, I'm going to end up gluing his little head down flat because I ripped him up. But do you see how this pops? Even though I didn't do anything special, I used a very neutral background. And then I used the orange of the beaks and the feet to pop. So it really draws your eye into the card design. Now, a lot of times I will go in like with a W3 and I will ground these little guys, because there's nothing that makes me crazier than having like these images in the middle of a card that are just like floating like it's an aberration. So off camera, I probably will add some shadows under these guys. But even though I've got this rainbow and, you know, all these colors do pop off of a neutral, because you've got these bright oranges that have that yellow undertone, it draws it in, and it makes it pop. So when you look at the color wheel, brown is a neutral, but it is also opposite of many of these colors. So if I were to mix, let's say, purple and yellow, I would make brown. If I were to mix blue and orange, I would make a mud. So if you understand a little bit of color theory, then you can make things pop. And for me, personally, I am always taking photographs of my cards because I'm doing it for my company or for other companies. And so I need I need it to catch somebody's eye. So I typically, a lot of times, will pick like a red and put a dot of red in, whether it's a heart, whether it's a gemstone, or if it's a little heart. In this design process, I chose to make the oranges, and I used a WR09. So it's a yellow red, and reds always pop off the page. Now, the only time that red is not going to pop off the page is if you're using a bright orange background, or you're using, sometimes like if you're using a red that has like a blue undertone and you use it with a purple, you're not going to do that. So you really need to like look at a color wheel and see what's opposite. So like red and green are opposite on the color wheel. And so that's why at Christmas times, the red and the green really pop like off of a Christmas tree. Or, like I said, the orange and blue are opposite. So those always explode when they're next to each other. They also, if you were to paint like your craft room, like one wall orange and one wall purple or blue, it's going to give you a headache. It's like constant, like they're always fighting for attention. So a lot of times, like in room design, you're going to take a neutral color like this over coffee from Catherine Pooler, and then you're going to add your color, because the browns or the grays that you have in your rooms then make that one color that you have as an accent pop. So that's kind of why I always reference a color wheel. Now I kind of have that engraved in my head. But I do have, I shouldn't say I have one. I think I gave my color wheel away. But I had, up until not too long ago, I had a color wheel sitting right next to me on my desk, so that I could always reference it, so I could get the photo quality that I wanted. I mean, you saw that this is a card that I made a lot of mistakes on. I will still send this to people. There's nobody in my world that I give a card to that's going to be like, oh, that head's like not even. They're going to be like, wow, I got a card. but I still want to give them something that if they put it on their mantle or they put it on their bedside table if they're in a hospital, it's going to draw an eye. So if you're new to card making, I say pick a medium that you're comfortable with using, whether it's Copics, whether it's watercolor, whether it's Tombos, whether it's colored pencils, whatever it is, get really good at it and get yourself a color wheel. And then photograph your progress. So take a picture of card number 1. Then a year from now, continue to take pictures every day that you make a card. And you don't have to post them for anybody, but keep a record of it on your phone, on your computer, whatever it is. And a year from now, you're going to go, wow, my card design has exploded. And it's because you got really good at one medium and you got really good at the color wheel. And I promise you, you're going to see a difference. The other thing is, if you're into photographing like I am for like websites and for companies, then you're going to learn how to do your lighting. And eventually I'm going to do a video on how to do lighting and how to do phone settings. But for right now, we're going to cut this. We've been at this for quite a while. How long has it been? I don't know. It's been over an hour at least. So, and my voice is starting to go. So I think that we're going to call it a day. So off camera, I will add a piece of foam tape here so that his head lays flat. And I will add some gemstones, probably a little red heart. And then with each one of these hearts, I will add glossy accents. I saw that on my floor when I walked in today, and if I can find it quickly. Nope, that's not going to happen. I evidently picked it up. But if you put some glossy accents on it, it's not going to take away from your card, but it's just going to give a little bit of a dimension and some shine. So that's what I'm going to do with this card. Does anybody have any questions or have anything that you want to know about me or about this card set? If not, we're going to call it a night. Here are the little red hearts that I was talking about. And I will add one of those. Let's see here. And Barely Art Glue, I think I mentioned already, it dries matte and it dries clear. So even though I'm putting this down under a plastic heart or a crystallized heart, and you'll see the little white part of it floating through, that will dry clear and it will no longer be cloudy. Okay, I think that's it. If you have any questions, you can obviously contact me, but I'm going to call it a night. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye. Maybe.